This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to be joined by Mike Corrigan, CEO of Interferry, to discuss this organization's upcoming annual convention, as well as some of the major issues that are shaping and reshaping the international ferry owners market today. So, Mike, today we're just about a month out from Interferry's annual meeting. This one's scheduled for Sorrento, Italy. As you roll into the 2025 event, can you give us a recap overview as what you see as the top two or three most pressing topics facing the international ferry operators market today?
Well, I think greenhouse gas regulations are always going to be near the top of the list right now. I mean, specifically in Europe right now, there's some competing regulations between the EU and the IMO, and which actually may cause a scenario where there's double taxation and other operational issues. So we're trying to work through that because that could have a huge impact on our operators that actually have to move traffic back and forth. So that's a big one. Obviously, we're always concerned with safety in the developing world, so we want to continue to do what we can there to improve the safety standards and specifically in Africa and other countries as well, and in Southeast Asia. So we have a whole team working on that. So that's another big area of focus. And then electrification, getting enough onshore power supply at the ports and terminals to be able to electrify our boats. The ferry industry for some time now has been leading all of shipping as it relates to the push towards zero emissions. And the primary way we can do that is through batteries and electrification. I mean, because of the short nature of our routes, we think that we can almost get to where we need to get to from electrification and a zero emission standpoint through batteries. The challenge, of course, is getting that electricity to the terminals and to the ports, and that's where we need the help of municipalities, power companies, regulators, and others to get the required power to those ports and terminals. So that's a big push for us, and will continue to be going forward.
Okay, well, Mike, you certainly have hit on a lot of the topics that we talk about every day: decarbonization, electrification, throw in there digitalization, AI, whatever you want. I'm sure you and your members are dealing with it daily. So, taking that into the context, how specifically does Interferry work to lobby? I say lobby, but you can put it however you want, but otherwise help resolve these challenges. They're complex challenges which cross country boundaries and jurisdictions.
Yeah. Well, Interferry does a number of things. Obviously, we're going to talk about our conference, which we have every year, which is extremely important from a networking standpoint. Um, we share best practices at the conference and in other places. But one of the big things or benefits we provide to our members is we represent the ferry industry at the IMO and at the EU and other regulatory jurisdictions. And we think it's critical that the ferry industry is not forgotten when regulations are being made, because if we don't have a strong voice there, we know that the traditional sectors of shipping, such as containers and cargo ships and everything else, the vessel, or sorry, the regulations will be skewed towards them, and they won't take in the unique nature of ferries. So always a challenge. I mean, if you look at how ships operate across the world, ferries go back and forth, short routes, multiple trips per day, whereas cargo vessels and container vessels, I mean, they go right across the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean, wherever they may go, and they're gone for days. So when you think about emissions and emission standards as it relates, for example, to your vehicle, when do you actually, is your vehicle I guess the worst from a miles per gallon basis, and it's when you're driving around town and stopping and starting all the time versus when you're going on a long trip out on the highway. So we kind of use that as an example to why, when you can't put a square peg in a round hole when you're talking about all of shipping, you got to think about the ferries is a little bit different than all other sectors of shipping, I would say.
Okay, that's awesome. So, my next question, I'm certainly not asking you to pick favorites because I know that's the death knell for
Yeah.
politicians and heads of organizations. But when you look out across your membership, can you point to what you see as two or three of the most exciting developments in regards to ferry technology, whether that's new vessels, new routes, new amenities?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like asking you to put which one of your children do you love the most, right? I mean, we have 200 and almost 290 members now, so it's hard to pick a few. But obviously, there's been a lot of pomp and ceremony around the big electric vessel that's being built, or actually has been built by Incat in Australia for Bukabus down in South America. I mean, that's a game changer. It's a 130-meter long ferry that carries vehicles and passengers. It's going to run totally on batteries. So I think it's 40 or 45 megawatts of battery power. So for a route that's going to be a little under 2 hours, I think the ship's going to operate in the mid 20s in terms of knots. So you think about what is required, and that's the only type of power that that ship will have. So we've seen hybrids before, but this is going to be purely just battery power. And subsequent to that, the Bukobus order, Incat signed two similar order with for two more ships with a Moslinia in Denmark. So that's one example. I mean, you go down to what Seamus Murphy's doing down in San Francisco with WIDA, trying to build that network to become zero emissions, and what he's doing in terms of charging infrastructure on the water, floating installations. We're going to hear more about him, about what Seamus is doing with WIDA and his team at our conference. We go to the Thames Clipper in England, operating on the Thames River in London. They're pushing towards zero emissions in terms of some of the battery technology that they're using. I mean, we can bounce around the world in terms of where it's increasing tenfold on a year over year basis. But the big challenge will be for most of our biggest operators is to get the power to the port so they can actually utilize batteries going forward. So um, traditionally, Norway, Scandinavia has been leaders in technology, and they will continue to be. In North America here, we're seeing the big players like Washington State Ferries and BC Ferries really driving their agendas now and starting with hybrids and moving forward to pure electrification. So, I mean, the word we keep hearing now is electrification, and that's really where the industry's at as we go forward. When I look at other things that are happening, I mean, AI, we still don't know exactly what AI is going to do, but we know it's changing the customer experience big time. We know that people are going to be talking to robots or to computers or to search engines a lot more than they're going to be talking to people going forward. There's positives and there are negatives about that. When I talk to our members that are in the IT world, I get different responses. So that'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. So lots going on around the world in different parts of the world. But that's why we have a conference so we can bring everybody together and we can talk about best practices and share technologies, because that's how we really advance the ferry industry as quickly as possible to the benefit of our customers.
Okay, well, to your point, I think a lot of organizations are looking at AI and wondering what and how, and maybe there'll be a little AI Greg sitting here doing this one
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
And to your point on picking favorites, I have two boys, and it was neck and neck and neck and neck, but then one of them got off the payroll much earlier than the other one. So I think there's a slight edge there, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I digress. So. Mike, let's turn back to Interferry 2025. Like I said, you're within a month. I'm sure your days and nights are you and your staff putting the final touches on that. Can you give us a big picture overview of the event? I guess really a by the numbers, something that gives our audience a
Yeah.
shape and size and a trajectory actually since its inception.
Yeah, it's the 49th conference. So our 50th will be in Bangkok next year. So
Nice.
yeah, if you have the opportunity to come to a conference, I would suggest the 50th one in Bangkok. Sorrento is going to be pretty special as well, our 49th conference, hosted by Grimaldi Group, which a major player in the shipping industry and in ferries as well. We expect actually we'll sell out probably by the end of this week. Our conference in terms of the numbers that we want. We could continue to sell more, but we want it to be a good experience for everybody. We really promote it as Interferry as a family, and we want people to come there and recognize others, and also for the decision makers to be there. That's important. So we'll have probably about 450 delegates and about 550 guests approximately. So we'll be full, or as full as we want to be. It's at the Sorrento Hilton, which is nice because the hotel and the conference center is together. 2 full days of a speakers program, touching on basically the theme of connections, connecting communities, connecting customers, connecting with the grid, and connecting with IT systems. So that we got a flavor there on everything. Uh, and then we also have a technical tour leaving Sorrento on the Wednesday, the last day of the conference, and going over to Bay of Naples or the Port of Naples, where people will tour the port. They'll tour the Grimaldi terminal. Um, they'll also be able to see the passenger-only ferry terminal, where there's four passenger-only ferry operators operating out of Naples. So a lot for everyone. In terms of the program itself, some great keynote speakers. Bud Dar, who's the CEO of CLIA, he'll speak. He spoke actually last year uh, in his role with GNV and MSC in terms of running their government relations and public relations. But now he's come over to CLIA, so it'll be interesting to hear his take on things as he moves from all facets of shipping just to and then into cruise, and then the similarities and differences between cruise and ferries. So we have Bud talking, and we have uh, Isabel Reichbos from the European Seaport Organization, who's going to talk about electrification and what the Europeans are doing to electrify their terminals, because they have mandated regulations by 2030. They have to get all their major ports and their secondary ports electrified. And then just a lot of interesting other topics. We have 3 ferry leaders panels. So, I mean, I always say if you want to come to one conference globally per year and meet all the movers and shakers in the ferry industry, it's our conference, our global conference. And we take pride in being able to get the C-suite people to the conference, participating on the main stage and also mingling with our audiences. So we have 3 ferry leaders panels. And we have 3 really interesting presentations on connecting with communities. We've got one from our Canadian CEOs, one from our a Greek CEO, and then one from our Philippine members in terms of what the differences and the similarities between connecting with different communities, because ferries really provide the lifeline services uh, to many islands and to communities. So that's interesting. We've got 2 new members coming in. I mean, our Very Safe initiative is huge, improving safety in the developing world. Uh, we have had running programs now for almost 2 years in Africa and other parts of the world, including Indonesia and the Philippines. And we have 2 companies coming in, talking about their company, what they're doing around safety and building their systems. One's from Lagos, Nigeria, and the other one is from the Philippines. So that'll be, and then there's obviously the sessions on building ferries and IT systems as it relates to security, but also AI and information systems. And there's so at the end of the day, I think there's something for everyone there. I mean, it's only 2 days of speakers programs, but we try to pack it all in so people get as much benefit as possible. And then, of course, the evening events, the Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday evening events. Those are the real opportunity for people to let their hair down if they have any, and enjoy Sorrento and the surrounding area, and also to mingle with other operators and members of the Interferry family. We're sold out for Sorrento, so that's great. It's going to be
Yep.
a record-breaking conference in many ways. Interferry's grown significantly over the years. I think we're at a good spot now. We're at a sweet spot. But for people that are watching this or I guess reading about it, I would say please think about Bangkok, Thailand, and our 50th anniversary conference. I mean, it's a unique opportunity to participate in a global ferry conference, meet decision makers, see another beautiful part of the world, and obviously celebrate 50 years of Interferry. So for people that are planning ahead, because when you travel outside of, for example, the United States or North America, you got to plan ahead quite a while, or even Europe. So Bangkok is only going to be a year away or so. So start thinking about that. And thanks for your support over the years. we will get you to a conference. We will somehow, Greg, but thanks for
Well,
your continued support. It's appreciated.
I think Bangkok might be perfect symmetry because
Yeah.
it's your 50th and it'll be my 60th. So I think the numbers are aligning up. So,
Yeah.
Mike, again, I wish you a successful conference. I know your organization for a very long time, and you do such a wonderful job because your membership spans from the massive to the very, very small operators in developing countries around the world. You headline a lot of really critical topics that we're talking about across all of shipping. So I'm sure it'll be another successful go in Sorrento.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you soon.